So I had to clean up a little bit, and ooh, that is sour. It's called a snog ball. Um, right now I'm trying to kill like 15 minutes a time. I just talked about food. Um, so something I'm putting off right now, bringing up the trash can up. I'm sore. I need a whole other nap to actually be able to bring that trash can up. I'm not even lying. My mom's gonna be a little bit mad about that. I am. Let me talk about making a really good mayonnaise out of goose fat. A goose fat mayonnaise is really healthy. You mix, all you do, here's a 2 coin trick. I learned this from somebody addicted to pills that would be crushing him between 2 quarters, but you could use that same trick with herbs. You can also put heavy whipping cream in a container, and then I would use 2 pennies, because pennies are actually copper, which is really good for you. 3 pennies for good luck, if you're lucky and have 3 pennies available. 3 coins. You put it in a glass jar and shake it. Also throw in a marble in there too, and you just and it will turn the heavy whipping cream into whipping cream perfectly. And you could also emulsify oil into fats like beef tallow or mayonnaise to make beef tallow or goose fat with the marble and 3 coins in there, and it will turn into a perfect mayonnaise. Cool, really cool to do. That's something that will impress a date. It doesn't have to be that. You could do it easier. Just make whipping cream and whip it into whipping cream. Or take heavy whipping cream and whip it into whipping cream. Really easy and impressive, and use like a pure vanilla bean. Perfect dessert topping for any pie, most cakes. You could do cream cheese rum frosting easily. And second thing that could really impress a date is just adding alcohol to cook with fire to light up the pan to burn off sugar and or scrape off bits on the bottom of the pan if you cooked lots of savory meat for a really good gravy to complete the dish. Then here's some easy date things you can make if you go out on a date with someone. There's an Anna Alson's marble pound cake recipe. That's my favorite marble pound cake recipe, and it was something that was like, to make the marble pattern was actually way easier than I thought. And it's just something, all you do is you pour in a third of the vanilla marble pound cake, then you pour in a third of the chocolate, then a third of the vanilla again, then a third of the chocolate, back and forth. Then swirl it with a butter knife, and you have a perfect pattern in there. And then, so what's great about pound cake is by the slice, it looks pretty fancy. It keeps a lot of moisture. This recipe uses sour cream, which pushes it to very extravagant, easily above an 8 out of 10 dessert on anyone's book. As long as it's fresh and served properly. Then Cinnamon rolls are a perfectly easy thing. Any desserts like tiramisu and extravagant, heavy in cream, heavy in fat, lots of sugar, carbs, rush. Some alcohol taste in desserts is really extravagant too, and vanilla, any herbs will push it. Pies are great to make. Pumpkin pies, ice cream pies. Another great idea for a date are pretzel bites, because the lye mixture part, parboiling the pretzels before actually baking them is pretty fun. It's super cheap ingredients. The making cheese from scratch is a fun thing to do with a partner. All you do is add vinegar to milk. So here's something cool. You'll see restaurants a lot of times advertise having in-house cheese, and sometimes that could be a really good thing depending on their culture they're using to make their cheese. But a lot of times they're being cheap, because it would be better to source the cheese from, you know how many famous European cheeses and cheeses around the world there are. That would be, even Tillamook is gonna, if you just put vinegar in with milk to make a shitty cheese, it doesn't taste that good, but it's cheap and it is healthy. And way better than them adding the plastic shit to pre-shredded cheese. Pre-shredded cheese, what an oxymoron. We're fucking idiots. So all these studies with cheeses say even the shittiest pre-shredded Mexican cheese blends are good for you. That's because cheese by itself is always going to be an equal amount of protein to fat to survive. They're not accounting for the levels of microplastics in the cheese in the study to conclude how healthy or beneficial the food is. Like right now, we're not at calorie deficits. It's actually the opposite, an obesity epidemic that humanity's never really been able to even have before. I mean, maybe in very, very select cultures, there's been obesities in rich class gluttons for thousands of years now, but for the first time, there's an excess calorie deficit, and foods being correlated to chronic illnesses with like aluminum and microplastics actually affecting your brain and your memory and your internal organs. And so I try and do shit that's like, I'm spending longer than 8 hours making a rye pudding from scratch. I'm spending 36 hours making bread from scratch, folding the dough every 30 to 45 minutes, reading research papers on autolyse. What autolyse is really interesting, you guys. It's what made me interested in baking. It's how the water molecules absorb into the flour. I have a very, 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 very special technique. It becomes a complete science, and you could objectively take my bread and put it under a microscope. And because I'm doing everything proper, the flour's been milled freshly within the last 30 days. Actually, for the best flour, once you mill flour, coffee beans, or pestle and mortar, any spices, do you know how long it takes for oxygen to oxidize and kill the flavors that are there that you won't be able to get to return back? It happens within 15 seconds, but really it happens instantly once you pluck the plant off of the tree.